Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Winding Road Podcast. Let me get my window up there so you can hear me good. Am I coming in loud and clear? Clarity in my mind. Yes, indeed. Indeed. You know, I go on these explorations of my mind and consciousness. A stream of consciousness is what this is, and I found it so very interesting. You know, I go down YouTube rabbit holes in consciousness and near-death experiences and all that stuff, and I was looking on there the other night. Can you guys see it? I don't know if it's on this hand. Yeah, you can probably see it. You can probably see it. I don't know. Does it look like an M? Does it look like an M on my hand? There's one on the other hand, too, like a trace like an M. Kind of helps, I guess my last name's Martin, but I thought that was kind of cool. I was looking on YouTube and it says, if you have this on your hand, if you have an M on your hand, yeah, I don't remember what the title said, something about significant meaning or be careful or watch out or something. And I was like, whoa, be careful, what's going on here? I got one. I don't know how common they are on people's hands. Who knows? These, you know, it's hard to know what to believe sometimes when you're on those YouTube videos, for sure. So I do take everything with a grain of salt, and I'm thinking, well, I don't know, who knows? Maybe everybody has it, or a lot of people have it, but apparently, if you do have it, I was watching like a 10-15 minute video, and I was like, what, be careful. There was nothing bad at all in the video about having the M on your hand. It just says that you will be the type of person that really likes to explore things, that likes to explore thoughts and, you know, the possibilities of how we got here or where we're going and all these different levels of consciousness and everything. And it basically was just explaining, like, yeah, you're a deep thinker, you seek out answers and all this stuff, and you know, you're always constantly, I don't know constantly, but you're always trying to seek a deeper meaning. That was what I got out of the most, is like, yeah, that is me. I do try to seek out the deeper meaning in a lot of stuff, and it says that I'm, you know, like on a mission, and I do feel like, you know, I am on a mission. I think that's just called purpose at the end of the day. But you know, the mission, as you know, being on the old Winding Road Podcast, my mission is to love, inspire, and unite. And that video was pretty crazy to watch. Pretty crazy to watch with the old M on the hand. And it did make a lot of sense, and there was a whole lot more to it than that. Look on your hand. You probably already looked. Do you have an M? Do you have an M? Are you like that? Are you like the way I am? Is there any merit and truth to the video that I watched? You go check. You know, I'm sure you can search and find it on YouTube. I do an absolutely horrible job of linking stuff in my YouTube to books I've read and all that other stuff. I think my Goodreads is up on my website, GaryMartinMedia.com. There's like a little G. You can click on it. It might be under the social media area where you can see some of the books that I've read and everything. But yeah, I do a bad job of sharing and posting videos, and I mean, I just do a bad job in general of being consistent with posting stuff, and it's just, man, I'm so old school at times, but yet I do try to integrate the new school, and you know, I use my phone all the time as like a tool to gain some of that deeper knowledge and understanding that we talk about, and that supposedly the M mark has on your hand. But I'm very, very old school in a lot of ways too, you know, honestly. If it wasn't for sports and professional wrestling, I don't know if I'd own a TV. I really don't. I don't think I would. I can do without everything else. Really could. Like, I go to people's houses and then I'm in their living room, they don't have a TV. I'm like, respectable. I don't know why. I respect the heck out of that. You know, I just imagine them sitting by the fireplace and reading, which is what I imagine myself doing. But 9 times out of 10, every night I'm watching a sport or watching wrestling. And I do try to mix in the time for reading, but it doesn't always happen. But I do think definitely the more you read, more knowledge, more wise you're going to be. Stating the obvious here, but as we've talked about, obvious needs to be stated sometimes. If we state the obvious, then it affirms the obvious, and then that's how good habits and patterns are developed. Yeah, it's like, man, I don't know. I'm like, I don't even have my phone. My phone's on silent, vibrate. It's not even on vibrate. Just totally on silent. I do not let my phone control me. I control my phone. Notifications, you can forget about it. Very few and far between. Very few and far between. I understand. We got to leave our phones on. A lot of people, business especially, people in business, people need to get a hold of them. I get that, and people need to get a hold of me. I mean, I feel like I'm checking it often enough that I missed a call, I'll call them back. I'm driving a lot on these old winding roads, so I see them. It's not like I don't see them, and I'm really, really good about getting back to people on text messages and everything. But I'm learning more and more about group messages and everything. Like, I'll read them, but most of them, but sometimes it's like, man, it's just kind of overwhelming. I don't know where somebody there asked a celebrity on some random video I was watching, how many unread notifications do you have on your phone? And they were like 200 and something. And I'm like, and then oddly enough, I was like, I aspire to be that way, because if I've done well, if I've loved, inspired, and united a lot of people, then I'm be in communication with a lot of, and I do a lot of different things. So, I have to be in different group messages and every group threads and everything like that. So, it was just odd though. I was like, yeah, I aspire to have 200 unread messages. I really don't like reading text messages in general. And it's just weird. This is where you flip the script on things, guys, or you're shown other ways to look at it. Because, I wake up in the morning, if I got 10, 15 unread messages, I mean, man, what an overwhelming way to start your day if you're just waking up. And they say that's bad. If the first thing you do is check your phone, that's bad. Well, guilty! I am definitely, absolutely, 100% guilty of that. And I would check my phone, and then the first thing you do is check your messages, and all of a sudden you're feeling like, oh boy, I got all these under. I'm gonna lay here for another 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, an hour trying to read all these messages and communicate what I need to communicate with whoever it is that I need to communicate with. And it's like, I think you need to wait on that. Wait till you fully wake up. But I do like to just lay in bed and read. I do like to read, but I don't like to read the text messages. And I wake up and I feel overwhelmed by them. So it's like, well, Gary, why did you just say you want to get to the point where you have 100 or 200? It's like, okay. It's just flipping the script, man. It's flipping the script. Because I'm like, I'm not going to be overwhelmed by it. And I want to be so successful that happens. And I embrace it. It's just embracing a perceived negative. And that's a perceived negative. And it is a negative, period. But it's flipping the negative into a positive and turning it upside down and on its head, looking for the silver linings in things and figuring out a way to make things work if they're not all that great. So that's what I did with that. It's just what I try to do in general. I'll go, almost immediately people says something really, really negative, and I'll be like, yeah, but, and then I'll, try to show what I feel is the positive side of that. And I get thanked for that a lot, and I'm just like, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I'm glad it's acknowledged. But then other times I go where I, a couple months and, something that's negative, and then I'm all of a sudden like, oh, light bulb. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, it's not all bad. I know how to flip that around. I know what we can gain from that. And, all that stuff, it does build up character. Like, not only going through it, but figuring out a way as you're going through it to not just take it and run with the negative and then you just compound, But it's in the midst of it. It is that mindfulness in the midst of the bad to figure out, all right, how do I turn this into something good? Or what is good? What, like I said, what are the silver linings in this? And no matter how small or tiny they be, if you start to focus on that stuff, then even if the negative's way greater, and we've talked about this 1,000 times, I apologize. Again, go back to stating the obvious, affirming habits, but this is like in the hand, you got all these negatives in one hand, but they look like they're really, really heavy, but they're all just paper, and you can just blow them away if we're able to see what's in the other hand. And the other hand, just one thing. 1-2 things. It's a heavy rock full of the positives. Or a baseball. A baseball you can throw. You can throw the baseball, and then you can hit the baseball. And you're knocking your life out of the park. Home run. Circle the bases. That's a round tripper. Oh, yeah. Man, I just, yep. You know, it took me a long time to get over the fear, getting on here and sharing myself thoughts with the world. And now I've like been able to, at least as of this recording, I made one post because I would be afraid to share my things and stuff with my family and friends. It's just like, what am I afraid of here exactly if I'm unwilling to share it with them? It's just because they know me. So if I share all this crazy stuff with them, it's like, okay, well, they're going to think I'm crazy. They're going to think I'm nuts. They're going to think I'm weird. And then everything in my mind that I think that they may have thought about me before, and because people say that to me sometimes, like, oh, wow, I didn't know you did that. Like, oh, wow, you're into that? Oh, man, you know, and like, I don't know. It's just like, it's not that they thought that I was necessarily a on the surface type of person. It's just they never seen below the surface. I think that's a lot with everybody, or with most people. You know, we don't put ourselves, a lot of people do, I guess, put themselves out on Facebook and everything like that, but that's a whole different story. But it's just putting the creative stuff out there. Creativity, yeah, it can be scary, because if you got all that craziness in you, but if the craziness, it's just, and I'm going to stop saying craziness, but the creativity that's in you, if you don't get it out, then you can possibly become crazy. So that's like, all right, man, this is all in me. I got to turn it into art. Whatever form that looks like, I have to turn it into art. And I can't be afraid to share that with people I know and just let the cards fall where they may. I don't care. I've gotten over that fear. There is no fear. If you read Dreamland number 4, baby, you know, I just had this epiphany, this dream, this revelation, this vision, this hypnagogic hallucination, whatever you want to call it. Fear is an illusion, man. Fear is an illusion. Sure, at times still going to fight it, but it's that mindfulness of that realization that you had, and constantly reminding yourself that I'm me, you're you, we are each other. Love, inspire, unite. God bless.